Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
We're gonna come to California, right? The situation, because I feel like there would have never been a hit 'em up if Tupac didn't meet Faith Evans. I think that when he met her and what happened between him and her, basically made it so that when he wrote Hit 'em Up, and you can see in the beginning of the lyrics, right? When, you know, first off, fuck your bitch, the click you claim, you know, you claim to be a player. That was one of the most incendiary lyrics that I feel like that has ever been written in a hip hop song that was actually true. And I don't think people really understand that. So what the question is, if he wouldn't have met Faith Evans, do you think personally would he have wrote Hit 'em Up?
He probably still would have wrote some version or form of Hit 'em Up, but you know, but without Faith Evans, he doesn't have that ammo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He doesn't have that extra bravado, like, yeah, nigga, I fucked your bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You ain't shit. Da, 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 da. It was just extra. I feel like that was the extra cherry on the top. Pac already had ammo for Biggie because of all the shit that I stated before, how he put him on and da 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 da. And Pac even talked about how he felt like Biggie stole his style, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Copied his style, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like Pac already had ammo for Biggie, you know what I'm saying? So a form or version of Hit 'em Up would have came up, but you're probably right. That's a good point, you know what I'm saying? What happened between him and Faith Evans was just cherry on the top, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of people wanted to deny that based on the fact that they really didn't know. They really didn't. And like when I came out and I spoke about it in detail, you know, and I gave people information that they didn't know, like Tretch was there with O.J. Simpson's daughter Arnell, you know, a lot of stuff that people wouldn't have necessarily knew.
The behind the scenes shit.
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff that they wouldn't have known. And so when it happened, I tried to let people know that that wasn't Pac's true intentions. He wasn't, because the initial conversation was when he walked up to the car, was like, hey, how you doing? Da 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 da. Tupac was like, yo, I like your music. You know, we should do something together. That was his initial conversation. And so when I tell people that, you know, people don't really understand that, and they tried to make it a bigger thing than it was, when it really wasn't that big at that particular point back then. When he wrote Hit 'em Up, that's when it became this polarizing subject matter and so on and so forth. So, you know what I mean? That was the reason why I asked you that situation involving him and Faith. So I'm going to ask you right now, you know, that being your brother, do you think that him and Faith had relations?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said before, I never doubted it when he said it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, to keep it real, I mean, unless somebody proves me wrong, I haven't seen Pac lie about anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, really, I mean, there's a lot of shit that Pac said and claimed that to this day, I haven't heard a lot of motherfuckers dispute. You know what I'm saying? Or better yet, when he was alive, motherfuckers didn't dispute. You know what I'm saying? It's only now that he's dead all these years later, now people are trying to, you know, change details and blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, absolutely.
So check this out, because now this is the thing that I tried to bring people up on, Will, you know, now we're on the subject, right? So she wrote this book. Now, I didn't really think it was a big thing to even talk about until I read the book and then I seen her on Drink Champs, right? So for me, when I saw that, I was like, yo, that wasn't how it happened. I'm like, no way.
Right.
And then so once I read the book, she tried to make it seem as if she took the timeline and tried to mix it all up, right? But because I was there the night that they met, and I proved with pictures. So the picture that they met the first night with Tupac, you know, hugging on her and cool. They were at the Hollywood Athletic Club.
Right.
But then it was like 21 days, 20 some odd days later that they were at the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack release party. And they met up again. But Pac was actually there as a guest of Whitney Houston. Because you know him and Whitney Houston was dealing with each other on that level too, right?
Right, I heard that.
So when he goes there as a guest of hers, and Faith is actually on the soundtrack to the movie, right? You know, Faith says in the book, in which this part I kind of think part of it's accurate, is that that Whitney Houston looked at her like, because Tupac was sitting at Faith's table, right? Oh, you with him too? You know what I mean? Well, yo, what you?
Right.
So what do you got to think about?
She knew what it was. She knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's the way it was. I mean, Pac was a ladies' man. You know what I'm saying? He was, you know what I'm saying, handsome, rich. You know,
talented.
You know what I'm saying? Women loved him. You know what I'm saying? And so women knew what it was. Oh, you hanging with them, right? You know what I'm saying? So that must be, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting it right. So yeah. Well, like I said, I've always believed it from the moment he said it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Of course, it was funny, you know. And as I've gotten older, and then now you hear people be telling on themselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't even realize it. You know what I mean? And so you hear, you know, people like Faith Evans tell her side of the story. Then you got people like you that contradict that. And then you got other people,
absolutely, who
were credible people,
right?
You know, are credible people who were there,
right?
Who are basically all saying the same thing.
Absolutely.
So I always use the same analogy with people. You got 100 motherfuckers in the room, right? You got 100 people in the room. 99 people are saying one thing. One person is saying the opposite thing. Who the fuck you gonna believe? You know what I'm saying?
You're the one of the 99.
Right, the majority of the people, right?
Right.
Because it's just, so that's like kind of like the situation is like you got all these people saying, oh no, yeah, they were there, and oh no, I saw her go to the room and I saw them hugged up and all that.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know,
right.
So, you know, and then I understand it though. We all understand why Faith Evans gotta lie. You know what I'm saying? She got to save face. She can't fucking admit that she went to go, you know what I'm saying, get it in with Biggie's supposed enemy, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's a lot of lies, man. There's a lot of lies going on.
And I like I said, like you said, I understand too at that particular time, but it was this one. The crazy part was the one picture, because how she mixed the timeline up in her book, right? It was the picture at the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack release party that basically exploded the whole thing. Because if you put it in your book that it happened a certain way, you would want to believe that what you're saying, or the person who actually went through it, what they're saying is actually true. But that one, this in particular picture right here, this picture right here was the one that let me know, okay, yeah, not only did they do it because Tupac, your brother actually told me, because like I said, we were at the House of Blues, right? On August 11th, 1996. I'll never forget that night. Like I said, I talked about Kobe Bryant being there, just being traded from Charlotte, the whole thing, right? And so, so we get into the spot, and like I said, a couple of outlaws was with him. I'm not sure who, but they couldn't get in. Tupac had to give the security guy like $3 $100 bills to let them in, like on the slide, right? Like, yo, they ain't old enough, so you can, you know, let them in.
Okay.
And we go upstairs, and I asked your brother, I said, so yo, you know, did you hit Faith that night that we was at the Hollywood Athletic Club? He was like, no, but I did the next night though. And so for most people who don't really understand that, Will, it wasn't a big thing for me to ask him that, because we was there kicking it at the Hollywood Athletic Club. Remember, I told you when I met him in 93, this is the second time at the Hollywood Athletic Club, because he was dealing with my homegirl back in Maryland. This is the second time. So he already know, like, okay, cool, how I was introduced to him. It wasn't like no dude, yo, I'm trying to be a rapper, here go my demo, that type of deal. It was through somebody personally that he knew. And so when we at the House of Blues, I asked him. He was like, no, but I did the next night though, because she actually had people with her in the convertible BMW. And that's what I try to tell people, like, yo, when Biggie wrote those lyrics in Hypnotize. Dare I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3, bang every MC easily, busily. He's talking about that night because it got back to Biggie that same night.
Right.
But at that, because people seen him at the Hollywood Athletic Club. People seen like, yo, it was what it was. You know what I mean? And so from that perspective, he had told me, that he did. And it wasn't that big of a thing. Like a lot of people like to make it. Once again, like I said, a lot of people thought it was a big thing, and it really wasn't that big of a thing. So, that's what I knew about Tupac. Just like you said, he was never one to really lie about anything, in regards to dealing with no woman, from what I understood in regards to her. And like I said, at the end of the day, when I saw the interaction, when she first rolled up, I could see it. And so another part about it was Tupac wanted to smoke a cigarette, right? And so we go through this side door at the Hollywood Athletic Club, right? We go to the side door. And so I don't think Faith, she knew where he was at, whatever. They come outside, they come out the front way and walk across the parking lot. But I think that she was really trying to figure out like, where did he go? You know what I mean? And Pac yelled out across the parking lot. He was like, y'all leaving? And she was like, nah. He was like, because we about to go back to my hotel room. What y'all gonna do? And Faith said, we gonna follow you. So that for me, that was confirmation enough other than what Tupac had told me, for what had happened. So that's the reason why I asked you, being your brother, you know what I mean? What do you believe in that situation from that perspective? And like I said, you just, commenting on that. So yeah, it's interesting.
And then not only that, for all the people who are doubting or believing, right? Doubting that.
Right.
That Pac and Faith got together, whatever, slept together, right?
Right.
If it didn't happen, why would Biggie be so fucking mad? Because from all accounts, Biggie was hot. Biggie was pissed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I done heard some shit that he done yoked her up or, snatched her up because he was so mad.
Right.
Now, if Pac didn't hit, why would he be so mad? It wasn't from the song that she did because she's getting paid for that. You know what I'm saying? So
hold on. The cold part about that is that she lied about that. They didn't even really. She lied about that. She was like, I was never in the studio. That's what I said. So I put that out there too.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so she lied about the fact that she even did a song. She was like, it was a beat for these girls that I was working with, and so on and so forth. And Pac vocals was on there. And so I did it for that. But then, but hold on, the crazy part was, but then I did the video. I did the first video with Art of Dialogue. We did the video, and then we put out the interview with the dude, Chuck Phillips, who interviewed Tupac as soon as he got out of jail. The cold part about it was Chuck Phillips actually recorded the interview, and the interview had her actually singing on the song, Wonder Why They Call You Bitch, in the booth. And so the question I say is, well, if it really didn't happen, why would you have to lie about these little
Why all the lying for?
Yeah,
why all the
lying
deceit
for? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
why? The only reason people lie is because they're trying to not get caught, not get in trouble.
Right. And I get it, huh?
Biggie said it also in one of his rhymes. What did he say? Some shit like get it to Pac's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he's implying that she slept with Pac.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
that was the joint Brooklyn's Finest with Jay-Z.
Okay, right.
If she had kids, she probably have 2Pac's. Get it? 2Pac's. Right.
Now why would he fucking say that if he didn't believe that Pac slept with? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
And the reason why he believed it or probably believed it is because there was so many people telling him. You know, the people who were there.
Who were there, like I said. But that night, listen to me. That night at the Hollywood Athletic Club, it got back to Biggie that night because 2 days later, she said he was trying to call, and she flew back to New York because they were like, "Yo, Biggie hot. He heard about you out here kicking it with Tupac." You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, boom, she skedaddled back to New York, and then the cold part was this. not only did she skedaddle back to New York, and because I think that she was ultimately gonna make it happen. It was like, yo, we're gonna do the song, and then went back. He was staying at the Peninsula. Peep this though, Will, staying at the Peninsula. But then she came back to LA. She had to do the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack release party, and then that's where they got up again. And that's when he seen her again. That's the picture that I was saying, because she tried to make it seem like that first time was the last time that she saw Tupac. But what gave it away was that picture. And so, you know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy.
So I'm saying people tell on themselves all the time, man.
Absolutely.
The truth comes out eventually.
Right. It's like you tell a lie and then you tell a truth in that lie, not knowing that you're telling the truth, Yeah, man. And so, like I said, and so then we move on. So Will Garland Jr. in the house, in the building, hip hop, Monica name, 5 Faces. Look out for him. It's your boy DELRAY. Yeah, straight gang.